So BYP Network, we're now 6 years old, which is crazy every time I say it. To think when it, like I said, it first started because I wanted Black professionals to connect with each other, to find each other, to mentor each other, to get each other jobs, etc. So the first event was just that. It was a networking event in the city. The whole point was to leave your titles at the door. Let's come, let's be friends, let's connect. And so many friendships were formed from that event till now. And so many people that I know as well from that first event till now that have just grown part of the wider network. And it's all about that because it's so important for where we are today, because that's the fundamental of BYP Network. It's kind of like a friendship network where we're here to help each other progress. It's more like, what can I do to help you versus what can I take from you? And it's just this environment of, our brands, corporate partners giving, our members giving, mentors giving, everyone's just giving. And it's for people to just take.
Amos Madra.
Kike Oniwinde Agoro, a warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been a while. I've been trying to get hold of you, but here you are. It's an absolute joy to have you here today. And you are such a superstar. You're a hero. I think what you do is fantastic. For BYP Network, the LinkedIn for young black professionals. You're doing amazing work. You're a game changer. Forbes 30 under 30. God knows what how many more accolades you've got and what's still yet to come. But you're amazing. I think just the things that you're doing. You're certainly a trailblazer. On this podcast, we always talk about people who trailblazed the way. And you are certainly that person. A warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Wow. Don't know how to receive all of that, but very much appreciate it.
No, fantastic. Kike, let me start with, your childhood growing up. You're very focused, you're very disciplined. You've always had that support from your mum and that guidance. But business wasn't always something that you were going to go into. Talk to us about your journey starting out and then going into business eventually.
Yeah, sure. So I guess just growing up, I grew up in East London, just a normal state school. And I always say I didn't know I was disadvantaged until they told us we were disadvantaged. So what I mean by that is just, a happy childhood, normal kind of secondary school experience. I was very academic and very athletic. So kind of getting all A stars at school, doing javelin. So I was able to represent Great Britain in the javelin, compete for England as well, win national competitions, etc. So I had a very fun childhood with sports and academic. And essentially what happened was I wanted to be, sports was my focus for sure. Like I wanted to be full-time athlete, Olympic champion, world record holder, all the kind of big titles. But at the same time, because I was also academic, I also saw the power in just pursuing the normal world of work as well, like understanding what other careers there are, learning about kind of life after sport as an athlete, or can I do both? I remember thinking, can I be a top athlete and also be in the world of work? And so my first kind of work experience was very much in banking. So I had a lot of internships in banking. So a lot of the big names like Goldman Sachs, Citi, Deutsche Bank, etc. But I realized that the two just weren't compatible. And I didn't necessarily really like banking either, but I didn't know any other kind of career routes essentially. I went off to America. I got a scholarship out there, competed in javelin, and I did a management degree. And in that degree, I did very well in my kind of entrepreneurship modules. Like they would be the highest modules. Then I also was thinking back about school in general, that I did, business, GCSE, did very well in that. Me and my friends started a business called Kiwi and Yam when we were younger. But nothing really happened at that time, but still it was that interest. But I never once thought I'd go and be an entrepreneur, or that was a actual route in life. It all just happened from just my own experiences, thinking back and just realizing like, hold on, we need a way to connect as Black professionals. Like I've now graduated and I don't know what to do. Like, how do I meet other people? What's everyone else doing? What now? It was just all these kind of questions. And that's kind of how BYP came about. I wanted to help others find each other, help others in the world of in the world of careers and professional networks. And then at the same time, Black Lives Matter was happening. So this was 2016. I just felt very overwhelmed. Like, what is the solution? How do we help each other as a community? I just felt like this can be a solution. It can be something where if we meet each other, we help each other. Corporations also see us as well, so they can see the talent, they can hire from the talent pool. Then surely this can help change the Black narrative. And yeah, I guess that was the journey. It was very much from sports, banking into entrepreneurship.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And you always, seem to have your finger on the pulse. You sense the seasons, you know what's coming around the corner. Great anticipation. Perhaps that's to do with your sporting background. But even when you went into sport, you went through, uh, you know, um, uh, times where you felt that perhaps you weren't supposed to be there, you didn't belong there. That imposter syndrome. How did you get through that? And then, of course, we heard about that transition into the world of work. And talk to us about the support and guidance from your mother.
Yeah, for sure. So going back into the story, what was quite interesting is that for my undergrad, I wasn't actually going to go to university. I convinced myself I need to go full time into sports. I told my mom I'm not going to university. I'm focusing on sports. And she very diplomatically convinced me otherwise, is the best way to describe it. Like, I think she realized that I could be serious and she didn't want to kind of be that kind of African parents, like, you will go to university. But she really, I'd say, coached me through the decision to realize that's not the right decision. So I continued, I continued doing my sports and undergrad as well. And during undergrad, I had a lot of challenges. So I broke my back in my second year of university. My grades were like terrible as well. And I just went through this whole period of just like an identity crisis almost, because I've always been athletic and academic. And suddenly I'm just neither, was the best way to describe it. So I went through a very kind of hard, I always think second year of university was very difficult. But I overcame that. I just doubled down the going into final year of just like, this isn't my story. Like I have to get my 2-1 and I have to overcome this back injury and like perform amazingly the next year. And essentially what happened is I did. I was able to recover. I was able to throw a new personal best, which got me my scholarship to America. Obviously, I got my grades as well. So I got my internship. So a lot happened that year that just allowed me to realize like, wow, I can do anything I put my mind to. But then what happened then is in America, it was just a complete different atmosphere. When I think about sports, I was doing it for fun, for passion, for myself. But, by getting a scholarship, it became a job essentially. And I think I wasn't mentally prepared for that. So the environment had changed. And all of a sudden, I just couldn't compete. Like I couldn't throw properly. I was throwing distances I used to throw at like age 13 or 14. I just declined. And you can imagine, being in a new environment, these people have invested in you, they're expecting great things from you. You're thinking about the people back home who are like, oh, she's in America, she's doing terribly out there. My mind went everywhere. And I definitely suffered anxiety. I'd say imposter syndrome would be it, because when I was there, I was like, oh my God, can I do this? But then it just morphed into some form of anxiety. And it's so real because as soon as I got back into the UK, I was myself again. like it's like this whole feeling just lifted out my chest and I was normal again. So that's how much it just completely threw me off. But within all that, that's when I really did well in my master's course. I met so many amazing people out there, and it became part of my story of why I founded BYP Network. So I guess everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely, and using it to your strength, to be able to embrace and use it to help others in the future. So starting BYP, before that you started another business with a partner, and you talk to us about that, and then how that grew into BYP.
Yeah, so again, that was just for fun. Like that wasn't me thinking I want to be an entrepreneur and this is my route or anything like that. That was just in sixth form. I, as part of a team, we kind of created this business called Help at Hand. It was part of Entrepreneurship Week. We got invited to the Institute of Directors kind of event or pitch finals. And so in 1 week, we were able to come up with this idea, Help a Hand, which was peers tutoring, basically. So me as a student, I'll help tutor other students and I get paid for it. And we came second in the competition. And it was just such a fun day and a fun event. And, there were some speakers that spoke about their journey as entrepreneurs and what they've done, what they've been able to build. And I actually took a lot of inspiration from the day. And I went back home and called my best friend. I was like, we need to start a business, that was it. That was just from that. And so we just came up with this concept. It was like this clothing line where making everyday wear for African print. So if you have, just African material, kente, I can't even think of it right now, but, just everyday material to put it so that right now what you're wearing, your shirt should have a collar that's printed, right? So that was the big vision. That's the big idea, but we had no clue what to do. Had no clue where to start, how to do it. Like, it was just like, it became like something we just kept talking about, like, hey, Amos, yeah, I'm the founder of Kiwi Yam, but you were like, oh, can I buy a top? There was no top to buy. So it was very difficult, actually, because I remember it weighed me down quite a bit because I wanted to build something, but just didn't really know how and just didn't know what to do, essentially. So in the end, I ended up dropping out, but my friend carried on and she's gone on to, create loads of lovely tops and sell them on, and loads of celebrities wear Kiwi Yam. In fact, they have a nice Nollywood t-shirt that a lot of people wear. But yeah, I didn't pursue entrepreneurship. I continued with my sports, with my academic, went to America. And then I'd say many years later, maybe 3 or 4 years later, is when I started BYP.
And sometimes would you say that through experiences like that, it helped you to double down and to push through? Because I'm sure there were difficult days, where you felt, why am I doing this? But, giving you a reason to push on.
Yeah. So what I learned from that first experience is that I need a tribe. So that was interesting. So from that, I was like, I know I need support. I need the people that know how to build businesses. I need to be around them. I need to gain knowledge as much as possible. And that's why I kind of went overboard in joining so many entrepreneurship programs. So I always talk about New Entrepreneurs Foundation, Mayor's International Business Program, and won different pitch competitions. So like Sky Women's Technology, I was one of the top 3 future leaders in technology, basically, by Sky. And that was a program. There were so many that I joined because I was like, I know I need a tribe. I know I need help, basically. Whereas that first business, it was just us two, basically, and that was it. We didn't really gain any further knowledge, I'd say.
Yeah, and that going on these courses, doing these training programs, obviously gave you direction, gave you the structure that you needed. Talk to us about the funding side and getting investors in.
Yeah, definitely. So I think about the first one, New Entrepreneurs Foundation. I joined it after I'd launched the first BYP app. And that was like, okay, this cohort is a year program. You're in a cohort of about 30 other people who are also entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs. You have bi-weekly whole day sessions on different things. So like marketing, strategy, branding, business canvas, just all these kind of different things that you'd go through. And by the end of the year, we had a pitch competition. And before that, they gave us pitch training. They got us ready to talk to investors. So they directly connected us to investors. But I'd say by the end of the program, I was ready for investment because I now understood what I needed investment for. Whereas before that, I didn't even know I could get investment. Like, I didn't even know about a world of fundraising and VCs. And I just thought I'd bootstrap it all. So I'd say it was really good just to learn what, you don't know what you don't know. So it's important to learn. And that really, really helped me to just also have confidence as well. I think through that program, I realized that BRP was a viable business, a great idea. I can go full time now as well because I was doing it as a side hustle whilst I was working. And it just all kind of went up from there. It was a really amazing experience. So yeah.
So for somebody watching, listening to this, thinking, I'd love to get my business off the ground, get the right investment in, but I don't know if the product is that valuable. I don't know if that's something that, people would want to invest in. What would you say to them?
Literally, my suggestion is always to join business programs. There's so many free ones, accelerators, programs, events. Like I always say, between the time that I got my first fundraising, my first pre-seed, which was £150,000, I spent 6 months just really learning. Any event that I saw on fundraising and networking and investment and business, I went to. I spent 6 months I was leaving my house all the time, meeting new people, whether it came to fruition or not. I just was out there. I was out and about. I was visible. And that I always put that down as my greatest learning period of just understanding what I need to understand. And I'd say the same for them. Like, don't just rest on your own laurels. Don't think, oh, I've got this, I'll figure it out. Oh, I know best. No, there are people who've done it before you. There's people that are willing to help you, people that are willing to invest in you. You just have to go out and find them. And these programs can really, really help you.
Absolutely. And, BYP Network is doing that. It's helping so many young professionals find their feet. Talk to us a bit about the work that you do.
Yeah. So BYP Network, we're now 6 years old, which is crazy every time I say it. To think when it, like I said, it first started because I wanted Black professionals to connect with each other, to find each other, to mentor each other, to get each other jobs, etc. So the first event was just that. It was a networking event in the city. The whole point was to leave your titles at the door. Let's come, let's be friends, let's connect. And so many friendships were formed from that event till now. And so many people that I know as well from that first event till now that have just grown part of the wider network. And I talk about that because it's so important for where we are today, because that's the fundamental of BYP Network. It's kind of like a friendship network where we're here to help each other progress. It's more like, what can I do to help you versus what can I take from you? And it's just this environment of, our brands, corporate partners giving, our members giving, mentors giving, everyone's just giving. And it's for people to just take. So what we do now essentially is we have quite a few services that we offer. So if you're a Black professional, you join BYP Network at the moment, mainly through signing up to our newsletter or signing up to our job board. And you're joining because you want to stay up to date with events that we have going on. So, for example, we have a New Year, New Network event happening in January, which will have hundreds of Black professionals coming to meet each other and network and, just learn how they can kind of have a fantastic year in 2023. We have our leadership conference, which happens every year in October. And this is all about having Black leaders on stage, telling you how they made it, how you can supercharge your career, what you need to do. And again, a great day to network. Feedback from that event is always that it's like a Black heaven, or, oh my God, in my 35 years or 40 years of being a working professional or just living, I've never been in a room with just Black people other than church. Like that's kind of what BYP Network does and give. And every single week we have weekly masterclasses that you can join free of charge. You just sign up, and there'll be a partner who's giving it. It could be on how to be a product manager, how to get into tech, how to be the king or queen of branding. There's just so many different subsections that we cover. And it's all, again, to give to you for knowledge. And with all of this, you can apply for jobs. So if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for career change, you can apply for a job board. If you attend our events, you directly connect with the recruiters that are hiring. So again, it's a great way to do that. And then finally, we offer mentorship. So again, people are there mentoring each other. It's 6 months long, one session a month. And at the end of it, you get improved confidence, you get a new network, or you get a new job. So it's really, really up to you. But the whole point of BYP Network is we are here to give you an unfair advantage in life because we know that we don't have a fair advantage. So we're here to give you that unfair advantage and that privileged network so that you can scale as an individual and as a business owner.
Absolutely. Sounds so good. Is there a subscription for that? Is there a fee to pay in terms of?
At the moment, no. So, and I'm saying at the moment because there could well be some point next year. So at the moment, it's free of charge. You can attend any event for free. You can enjoy, join up to be mentored for free. A lot of it is free. Some of our events are not free. But again, majority of things that we offer is free.
And because your reach is far and wide, physically for some people to get there is almost impossible. Are these events remote as well?
Yep. Yep. A lot of our masterclasses are all online. So there's even, things they can watch from before if they've missed it. Our conference last year was hybrid, so it was in person and online. And obviously with the COVID years, it was all online. So we made sure we still had our conferences. 2023, again, we intend to do webinars, masterclasses continuing, and then in-person events. And how can I forget? We got BYPs, which is literally city professional events. So we've had Manchester, Birmingham, Dubai, Lagos, Nairobi, New York, and next year we intend to scale that to so many more cities. So we're trying to be near you, near all our members.
Incredible. And again, it's global now. It's not just in London. It's completely reaching out the whole world. Your energy, Kike, absolutely love it. Just being able to, push and just to make a difference in so many people's lives. How do you maintain it? Do you ever get burnout? Do you ever feel at some point where you need to recharge and I don't know how you do it. How do you do it?
It's very difficult. I think we entrepreneurs don't really we gloss over it all. Like people describe entrepreneurship as jumping off a cliff whilst building the plane. Or I think someone else, another entrepreneur said it's like eating glass every day. Like that I love that analogy because that is exactly how it feels. And I don't think people realize that because obviously you see the successes, you see all the great things that we do, but it is hard. Every day you're having to make different decisions, you have to deal with different people, investors, clients, employees. You have to ensure that your product's moving forward. There's so many things that you're having to handle. And I think the key thing is gaining strength every day, knowing that, okay, I've seen this situation before. I handled it last year. This is just a bit bigger, but I'm bigger. I've now I've increased as a person to handle these new challenges. And for me, obviously, my challenges have been the fact that I am growing a business. I lost my mum a year ago to a few days ago. I'm a mother now, I'm a wife. So there's so many things that I, juggle at the same time. But for me, the key thing is just about just staying focused, take each day as it comes, and just knowing that I'm doing something that not everyone can do, right? So why would it not be this difficult? If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So that's how I stay motivated and how I continue to challenge myself. And yes, of course, I've had burnout. Who hasn't had burnout? But the thing about burnout is that you slowly recover. So I'd say that, I might not be 100%, but even my 80% is still productive. So that's how I go forward.
I like that. Not 100%, but even 80% is getting the job done.
Exactly.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, you're such an inspiration, and I like, your drive, your energy, always pushing the needle forward. How can we help people? You've got your reasons behind which motivates you, and you've done so much for so many people. Condolences for your mother's for the passing of your mother, and equally at the same time, congratulations because you've now got this wonderful bundle of joy who
Mm-hmm.
keeps you busy. How are you finding motherhood?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Such a blessing. I mean, waking up and seeing her face, her joy, it's such a blessing, honestly. I'd recommend it.
So, again, when I look at what you've achieved, and I know there's still more to come, what does legacy mean to you, and what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind?
Yeah, for me, like for example, BYP Network, I didn't start it because I wanted to, or I wanted to, have some sort of legacy, or I wanted money. It was just because I needed this problem to be solved, not just for myself, but for everyone around me, for future generations. And so for me, BYP Network should be here in 100 years' time, if it has to be here. Really, I always say BYP shouldn't be here in like 5 years' time because racism should be eradicated. But I think I'm learning that that's probably just not going to happen, sadly. So BYP Network needs to exist as long as it needs to be here. And that's beyond me, right? Like I'm just a person who started it. I don't need to be inside it. It should be able to grow without me. And I think we're already seeing that, right? By us having BYP in so many different cities around the world with people who are leading these chapters just shows that people understand it and it's people's lived experiences. So it will continue to grow. And so for me, legacy is just BYP Network living, breathing, existing, growing, and changing lives all over the world.
Absolutely. And we'll put all the links in the description so that the audience can connect and find more about BYP Network and change their own lives as well. Thanks to you. Kike, you're such again, a blessing to the things that you've done. You've opened the doors for so many people. You're very, how can I say, you're so inspirational. You've done so much for so many people. You continue to break barriers, you continue to open doors, you continue to put others first. And I think that's been your success. And if we can take just a small snippet of that and apply it to our own lives, we'll be able to do some great things as well. So I just want to thank you, honor you for the
Thanks.
wonderful person that you are.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not great with compliments, but I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Take care. Bye.
If you want some amazing inspiration, check out the videos next to me, and I'll see you right there.